Good day, ladies and gentlemen, and I certainly hope you're having a splendid day. Okay, here's one of these kind of videos I absolutely hate making. You know, anything to do with politics or, that kind of stuff, because that's really not what my YouTube channel's about. But, in light of what that stupid Donald Trump just got done saying here a few days ago about post-traumatic stress disorder when it comes to combat situations and war and all this other stuff, I know one damn thing. This son of a bitch here doesn't have a fucking clue what he's talking about. Not a damn clue. I looked around the internet, found it, because I don't watch news. I don't watch regular news at all. Too much brainwashing going on there. But I looked around the internet and looked at as many clips as I possibly could on what he had to say about us veterans like myself that suffer with PTSD. Now, I could sit here and rant and rave for 20 minutes about exactly what PTSD is. Now, the simple fact of the matter is what traumatizes somebody, certain soldiers, doesn't bother other soldiers. But this talk that was going on, I could tell by the way he was talking, that basically he's very uneducated when it comes to this subject of post-traumatic stress disorder. And you son of a bitch and Trump, this is what I got to say to you. I wish that you, my good man, had suffered with PTSD as long as I have. I come back from Vietnam in May of 1972, and I started having nightmares, night sweats, drinking heavily, and on like that. There are many, many, many symptoms to this disorder called PTSD. As a matter of fact, I was diagnosed in the mid-'80s by a contractor that worked for the VA, because the VA does that. They contract out, some of their services, if you will. But there was a mental health expert that took a good look at me, and I had several sessions with this guy. The guy's retired now. I was living in Southern Idaho, and one day I went into his office. He said, "Well, Jim, I hate to tell you this, but you got delayed stress syndrome." And I go, "What the hell is delayed stress syndrome?" See, the government's good at changing that name around. It was battle fatigue, and then it went to delayed stress syndrome, then it went to PTSD. This is a disorder, ladies and gentlemen, that is a freaking reality. And there will be people that will watch this video here and know just exactly what I'm talking about, because they've got loved ones or young soldiers coming back from the Middle East or whatever have you that have got PTSD. Now, you don't necessarily have to be in combat to have post-traumatic stress disorder. Basically, PTSD, what it is, it's a trauma that you've witnessed or been through or seen or whatever have you that your brain can't handle, or it manifests itself later on. That's why they call it post. In dysfunctions like nightmares, night sweats, anxiety, and this list goes on and on and on. But for anybody to sit and deny the fact that there isn't such a thing as PTSD is out of their fucking mind. Plumb out of their mind. Now, in my case, am I looking for any sympathy? Absolutely not. I needed help way back in 1972. Because basically what happened to me is I was run through a great big government therapy program in 1996. It was headed by a guy by the name of Dr. Hollis Hackman in Fort McKenzie, Wyoming. Or Sheridan, Wyoming. Everybody just calls it Sheridan, but it's Fort McKenzie. They had a great big psych hospital here, and Dr. Hackman was an expert in the subject of PTSD. Now, why do you got doctors? Why does the government even hire people like that? Because they know it's a reality. You know, in my case, my wife is totally aware of the fact that I suffer with this. My grandkids are aware that I suffer with PTSD. My children are aware of it, and I got a bunch of relatives that are aware of it. Whenever you wake up in the middle of the night firing an M60 machine gun and stuff like this, and having nightmares and night sweats and on, well, you got to know that there's something the matter. But I'll tell you one thing, Trump, chances are that you're a draft dodging son of a bitch. That's what you are. Because while a guy like me was off serving my country in Vietnam and getting PTSD, oh no, you couldn't do that. You were off making money. And I'm going to tell you another thing. There is no way that you could be a clean-cut, upstanding American anything. You got rich more than likely by cheating the hell out of people. Don't fuck with me. I know exactly what I'm talking about. You people like you that get really filthy, stinking rich, you don't do it because you're a nice guy. So you done cooked your goose with a lot of veterans when you start mumbling around about PTSD and you don't know what the hell you're talking about. You see, I got something, you got a lot more money than me and all that other stuff. I hope they bury you with it all. But I got this right here. That's my unit patch. That's my combat patch from Vietnam. You see that right there, Donald? I got something that you ain't got. So before you start opening up your big fucking mouth and talking about something you have no clue, you better do your research. Now, I guarantee you one thing, I'm not voting for you, and I damn sure ain't voting for that crooked Hillary Clinton either. When I go to vote this year, I'm just going to write Mickey Mouse in on the ballot, or Donald Duck or something. But it damn sure ain't going to be you, and it damn sure ain't Hillary Clinton. I don't like her any better than I do you. You better straighten up your goddamn act when it comes to us veterans. And it's just that simple. And you better get your story straight when it comes to post-traumatic stress disorder, because this is a reality. I've suffered with this condition for over 40 years, and I'm still in the care of the VA on account of it. So all you cowards that didn't serve and burnt your draft cards and ditched out of Vietnam, you, Donald Trump, being one of them, you can just kiss my ass. You got that? Good. At least I had some backbone.